We are all humans, and so by our very nature, we want to feel loved. And it can be painful when we don't feel loved. And I think sometimes this comes down to a concept of passive love and active love. Passive love where you intellectually know they love you, but active love where you really feel that warmth and that affection from that person. So let's break that down today a little further by talking about the kinds of things that get in the way of expressing love. I'm Stacy Rocklein, and I'm on a mission to eradicate loneliness. And there's nothing more lonely feeling, in my opinion, than having someone I desperately want to love me in a very overt way and not getting it. I'll give you an example that happened to me when I had a young son. He wrote me a letter, and in inventive spelling, it's not even real words, saying, "When you're grouchy, it feels like you don't love me." And I was like, ugh, right? It hurt so bad to read those words from someone that I adore so much. But it got me thinking, what's happening here? Why doesn't he feel that way? And that's when I started to think about love as passive love and active love, and the things that get in the way of active love, which is expression of love. It's like the warm sunshine of love. It's affection. It's, how that person feels about you when you feel it. You know how it feels inside you to feel that about the other person. Passive love is like intellectual love, where let's say you were a kid and you knew your parents loved you, but they didn't express it very much. So that's passive love. Really common too, because the generations before me were not big love expressors. That was a little bit more the special circumstance than the normal. We have love within us. We have to get it out. We have to show the person. And so what gets in the way of that? One is self-absorption. And that is just when you've got blinders on, your own personal experience in life right now is so intense. It's taking so much energy for you to cope with what you're dealing with that you really can't extend yourself out to other people. And so this can be a season of life. We all go through these hard times. Or it can be chronic. There are people in your life perhaps that just always have the me perspective on. Everything is through what's happening to them. And they are focused on how the world isn't loving them, but they don't then turn it around and go, but I'm not loving the world. I'm not expressing my love. That's hard if you're in a relationship like that with somebody who isn't probably going to change that. And I urge you to be reasonable so that you don't cause yourself more suffering by wanting something that they're probably not going to give. If it's just a season, that's okay. You can keep expressing love to them. If it's you, this is just your gentle reminder to go out and love the people. Express it with affection and warmth that are in your lives that you care about. Another thing that can get in the way is emotional maturity. So this is perhaps somebody who was not loved, maybe as a kid or at all in their life, actively loved. And like I said, this can be very common generationally, where if you've never been snuggled, you might not think to snuggle or touch. If you've never been told, "I love you, let me just praise you and tell you all the ways you're wonderful," you might not think to do that. You might not even think it's important, right? You might think it's enough to just be like, they know I love them. I love them. They know I love them. But I'm telling you right now, humans need to feel in the sunshine of love so badly. So you just practice. You practice these skills. What in my family, my parents definitely loved us, but it wasn't a lot of love expression. There was other ways of doing, but it wasn't "I love yous" and snuggles. It was all kinds of other really important ways that we were cared for and loved. But I had to teach myself that expression of love, and it's awkward at first. And when I was pregnant with my first child, I was terrified that I wouldn't be nurturing enough but you can just commit to it and do it, and it will become a little more second nature. So it might feel awkward if this is you, but start doing it. Start expressing your love. And again, if someone else has never developed that emotional maturity, you might still have a parent who does not express to you that they love you, but you know they do. Be reasonable about what to expect, because we cause our own suffering by sitting around going, God, why don't they love me? Because they're not doing it the way we want. So excessive focus on problems. And I can definitely be guilty of this. If I'm energetically down or I'm, stressed, I have a tendency to walk into a room and just see problems that I need to solve, or see problems that other people need to solve. And this can be when you're under stress, or sometimes this is really chronic. People just are problem seers. Here's where it gets us in trouble. I don't think that the person in my environment, when I walk in and I see problem and I tell them about problems that need to be corrected, I don't think they can feel active love and judged at the same time. Now, just because I'm seeing a problem and I'm looking for a solution doesn't mean that in my heart I'm judging them. But when people are reporting to you the problems you need to fix, it's very easy to feel judged. And if you feel judged, you're not going to feel actively loved. Like, my kids are going to know she loves me, but she sure is complaining. They're not going to feel like, oh, this is warm. This is mom just like getting in there and really loving me. Can't do those things at the same time. So if you're in a season of your life where you're kind of focusing on problems, remember, you need to pull back on that, or at least balance it with some expressions of love. And if you have someone like this in your life, they may just kind of be stuck in that pattern. And so you can go first and you can express love to them first. And sometimes that will break them out of it. And if this is just how they are all the time, I'm sorry, that's really, really hard to be around all the time. Again, please be reasonable with your expectations of the people in your lives so that you don't have more pain waiting for something you're not going to get. Okay, next one, bad habits. So extension of the last one for me anyway, is that I can just get in a bad habit. I can get in a habit of doing corrections instead of expressing love. And all I have to do in that moment is pull back and start to remind myself of all of these wonderful things about the people around me. And there are so many. So it could be a bad habit you just slipped into. It can be a bad habit that is born of a difficult time in the relationship. Like, you're kind of at odds with the person and there's tension. And the last thing you want to do is start being like really affectionate and expressing love. You're kind of stuck in that rut. So unfortunately, that will keep us from expressing love. And expressing love is the exact thing that can help break you out of that rut. Because it's a reconnection. It's going, you know what? We've been focusing on all the things that are wrong here. Let's move our gaze over to all the things that are right. Let me focus on all the things that are wonderful about this person. So you just have to change your gaze if it's you, or go first. If you guys are stuck in a bad habit, go first. Be the first person to express love. It could be the very thing that you need to get you out of that rut. And the last one I want to talk about is fear of rejection. So expressing love can be a one-way street. If we make it something transactional where I'm going to express my love to you and I really want you to express your love back to me, then I am setting us up for potential failure. Someone who has a really strong fear of rejection may not take that risk to be expressive of love, to be affectionate, to say how they feel about that person, because they're afraid that it's not going to come back to them. I'm going to argue that you should do this no matter what. Do it because you want to get better at expressing your love to people. Do it because you feel it, right? You feel this warmth about this person and you should tell them, right? Let them know. Don't do it because you're wanting something out of it. Don't do it because you want to test the relationship or test the waters. Just do it because you feel it. And if you are in a relationship with someone whose fear of rejection is so deep and so probably trauma connected, they are going to really struggle with expressions of love. And I'll say it for the last time, please be reasonable about what to expect from them, because you may not get what you feel like you need, but it's still okay for you to express your love. So please remember, we need this actively. We need to feel the warmth. We need to feel the affection. We need to feel the sunshine. And we equally need to express that to the people that we love. I mean, I think of all of us, we have children, we were children. We've all felt the way my son felt when he wrote that note. And we have the power to change that for the people around us. We have the power to change that in our world at large. And so I encourage you to take your passive love and turn it into something active that you can express to the people that you care about. Okay, hopefully this was helpful to you. Please share if you know somebody who needs to hear this message. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you get all the videos when they come out. I'll see you next time.